Okay. So you guys have been sending in a ton of stuff about UFOs.
Yeah.
And it makes sense, right? It's everywhere. I mean, Congress is holding hearings. You can't escape it on the news.
It's definitely the hot topic.
It is. But it
Well-
seems like you want to dig a little deeper, right?
Mhm.
You want to know if this whole Immaculate Constellation program is the real deal.
Right.
Like, are they really hiding evidence of alien spacecraft and tech? Well, that's what we're going to look at.
We are. I mean, this is really interesting because we're not just talking blurry photos and shaky videos anymore.
Right.
What's come in, like you've sent in news articles, official reports, there's even a podcast interview snippet.
Yeah.
All pointing to something big, like potentially huge.
Yeah, and that's where you come in.
Okay.
You're the expert on government secrecy, national security, all that like spy stuff.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
So you're going to help us figure out what's actually going on here.
Well, let's call it a crash course in UAPs,
Okay.
but really focusing on the why. Like, why are things happening? Why are people saying these things?
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it. So we know that there's a congressional hearing on November 13th, 2024.
Big day.
Big day, with Representative Nancy Mace kind of leading the charge.
Yeah.
And she's been pretty vocal about wanting answers. She even said, "Come hell or high water, I'm holding a hearing."
Wow. Strong words. What do you think about that statement?
Yeah, what's that all about?
Well, I think, when you think about the bigger picture here, I mean, it suggests there's some serious pushback against this whole investigation, even within the government itself. For her to come out and say something that strong, it makes me think that, she's ready for a fight.
Yeah.
She's ready to get to the bottom of this.
So she's anticipating some roadblocks.
I think so.
Okay, well, let's talk about the people pushing for answers.
Right.
You mentioned whistleblowers.
Right. So there are three that are really key here.
Okay.
David Grush, Ryan Graves, and Commander David Fravor.
Yeah. Okay, and remind me what they're saying.
So Grush, he was an intelligence officer, and he's actually claiming that the U.S. government, they've recovered like actual non-human spacecraft,
What?
and they're hiding the evidence
From Congress.
from Congress.
Yeah.
Then you got Graves. He was a Navy pilot, and he says he saw all these UAPs off the East Coast,
Okay.
like regularly saw them, and he's saying these things were defying like the laws of physics.
Okay.
And then Fravor, he's another Navy pilot.
Okay.
And he describes this encounter back in 2004 with this like tic-tac shaped object.
Okay, yeah.
And this thing, it was doing some crazy stuff.
So wait, hold on. They're saying alien spacecraft.
That's what Grush is claiming, yeah.
Wow.
But what's important here is that these aren't just random people.
Right.
These are people with backgrounds in intelligence and the military.
Yeah, they've been in the know.
Yeah, I mean, these are the folks that they require like serious security clearances for their jobs.
Okay. So, but I mean, there are people that think that these guys are making it up, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be skeptics.
Right.
Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, he's the head of the Pentagon's UAP investigation office. He denies any kind of cover-up
Okay.
or like that they've retrieved any non-human technology.
Uh.
And there are even some members of Congress who want a whole dedicated committee to investigate these claims.
Really?
Yeah. So, it's a bit of a he said, she said situation.
Yeah.
You get these whistleblowers claiming the government's hiding this huge thing. And then you got officials saying, no, there's nothing to see here.
It's standoff.
It is.
Okay, well, that's where Immaculate Constellation comes in.
Yeah, that's the big one.
That's the big mystery. So explain that to me.
So the theory is that this program, it's operating like outside of normal congressional oversight, which makes it super hard to investigate.
Yeah, of course.
Like really hard.
So what does this Immaculate Constellation, this program, have to do with everything we're talking about?
Okay, so according to this whistleblower report, it's basically like a giant library of information on UAP encounters.
Okay.
Like imagine a database filled with like the best quality pictures, sensor data, all kinds of detailed reports.
Are you saying that the government has this secret program that's just hoarding all the good stuff?
I mean, that's what they're alleging, yeah.
Wow.
And get this, the whistleblower even mentioned something called alien reproduction vehicles, ARVs.
ARVs, what are those?
So the way I understand it, alien reproduction vehicles, it kind of implies that some of these UAPs, they might not actually be alien spacecraft.
Okay.
But instead they're human-made vehicles. But they've been built using like reverse engineered technology that we got from recovered alien craft.
Wait, hold on a second. Are we talking about like the government captured some alien tech and now they're building spaceships?
Well, I mean that's a lot to take in. We're not talking confirmed facts.
Okay.
These are claims. We need to investigate.
Yeah,
them.
right. Okay, so let's just say, just for fun, that all of this is true. Why? The secrecy. Why would they keep this under wraps?
I mean that is the question, isn't it?
Why?
The why. The secrecy. Well, you know, there are a few theories going around.
Okay.
One is the classic, fear of public panic.
Right.
Imagine just total chaos breaking out.
Yeah.
If everybody in the world suddenly knew that we weren't alone.
That we're not alone. Yeah, I can see how that would be bad.
Right. I mean, governments love stability.
Right.
This would be the opposite of that.
The opposite of that.
But then there are other motives, maybe even more compelling motives.
Okay.
Think about national security.
Right.
What if these UAPs are actually, technology from another country?
Right.
Like China or Russia.
Right.
That would be a huge threat.
Huge threat.
I mean, suddenly we're not worried about little green men.
Right. Exactly.
We're worried about very real geopolitical rivals.
And they have tech that's way better than ours.
Way more advanced. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the darkest possibility.
Okay.
That maybe this cover-up, that maybe it's meant to protect people who might have, profited from this technology.
Right.
Or even hurt other people in the process of getting it.
Right.
I mean, Grush, one of the whistleblowers, he actually says that, people have been hurt.
Really?
Maybe even killed.
Wow.
As part of this cover-up.
So this is serious.
Yeah, this goes way beyond just keeping a secret.
Way beyond.
It's about justice. It's about holding people accountable.
Right. Okay, well, let's get into some of these specifics.
Okay.
You've mentioned these UAP encounters that seem to defy, the laws of physics.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking about objects that are maneuvering in ways that our tech just can't do.
Exactly.
Like, how is that even possible?
Well, like the incidents Ryan Graves described.
Yeah.
He's a former Navy pilot.
Right.
Like, these guys are trained to identify aircraft.
Yes.
And he and his squadron, they reported seeing, like, these dark gray or black cubes. Cubes inside, like, clear spheres.
Whoa.
And they didn't have any visible means of propulsion.
Yeah, that's possible.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Off the East Coast. They'd appear on radar, then they'd just vanish.
What?
And sometimes they even seem to interfere with the jet sensors.
Oh, wow. So these aren't just like blips on a screen.
Right.
These are experienced pilots seeing this stuff with their own eyes.
Multiple times, yeah. And they have the radar data to back it up.
Okay, so that's one. What about Commander Fravor?
Oh, right. His encounter.
He was the one with the Tic Tac, right?
The Tic Tac.
Yeah.
The famous Tic Tac incident.
Yeah.
So he was flying off the coast of San Diego back in 2004
Okay.
when he saw this, like, white oblong object.
Okay.
It's just hovering over this, like, disturbed patch of water.
Right. Okay.
And multiple radar systems picked it up.
So it wasn't just him.
No. This thing was real.
And it took off when he got closer.
It did. He tried to get a closer look, and that thing just shot off like a rocket.
Like instantly.
Instantly.
Wow.
He said it was like nothing he had ever seen.
Okay.
And then there's the Vandenberg incident.
Okay, remind me about that.
So this was a massive red square.
A square.
A square.
Okay.
Spotted over Vandenberg Air Force Base back in 2003.
A red square. That's just bizarre.
It is bizarre. But the point is we have all these credible witnesses describing these objects that are doing things that we can't even do.
Our technology can't do.
Yeah, way beyond anything in our arsenal.
Okay, but let's just, play devil's advocate for a minute here.
Okay.
Couldn't these just be, like, misidentified aircraft?
I mean, it's possible. But you got to remember, these pilots, they're trained to identify aircraft.
They know what they're looking at.
They know their stuff. And why would the government be testing this super advanced tech in, like, busy airspace?
Right, that's dangerous.
Yeah, you could put civilian and military flights at risk.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, what about foreign drones?
Oh, interesting.
Could these be from, China or Russia?
Yeah, it's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
But if a rival nation has tech this good,
yeah,
I mean, that raises some serious questions about our intelligence capabilities.
Yeah, how did we miss that?
Yeah, why haven't we seen this coming?
Right, so we've ruled out misidentified aircraft.
Mm-hmm.
Foreign tech, it's possible. But it creates more questions.
More questions and answers.
Yeah.
What else is there?
Well, some people think that these UAPs could be natural phenomena
Okay.
that we just don't fully understand yet.
Like what?
I mean, maybe atmospheric anomalies?
Okay.
Or some weird weather event.
But wouldn't our scientists, know about that?
You'd think so. I mean, we've got pretty sophisticated systems for monitoring the atmosphere.
Monitoring weather patterns.
Yeah.
But, nature's full of surprises. There could be forces at work that we haven't even discovered yet.
Okay, I'll give you that. But even if some of the sightings are explainable, like you said,
Right.
there's still a bunch of them that are just baffling.
Yeah.
That just make no sense.
Right.
What do we do with those? We just shrug our shoulders and move on?
I mean, that's what's been happening for decades.
Yeah.
But I think things are changing.
Yeah.
With these congressional hearings, all these whistleblowers coming forward.
Right.
The sheer number of reports that we're getting now, it's getting harder to ignore.
Okay, so let me ask you this. What's the significance of all this for our listener?
Right.
For the average person?
Yeah.
Why should they care about this?
Well, on one level, I think it's about, our place in the universe.
Okay.
I mean, the possibility that we're not alone, it's terrifying and exciting at the same time.
Yeah.
But there are some more practical implications too. Imagine the technological advancements.
Right.
If we could understand how these UATs work.
Right.
I mean, we could revolutionize energy production.
Right.
Transportation, communication. The possibilities they're mind-blowing.
Yeah, for sure.
But there are risks too.
Oh, of course.
What if some of these UAPs are hostile?
Right.
What if they're a threat and we're not ready to deal with them?
Right.
And what about, the implications for democracy?
Yeah.
If the government's covering up information on this scale.
It makes you wonder who's really in control.
Exactly.
And what else are they hiding from us?
Right. I mean, this isn't just some sci-fi story.
Yeah.
This has real-world consequences.
Yeah.
And it's something that we all need to be aware of.
Okay. So, I'm hooked. What's
Yeah.
next? What should we be watching for as this whole thing unfolds?
Well, that November 13th hearing is going to be big.
Okay.
We got to see what evidence they present.
Right.
Who testifies, and whether Congress actually does something concrete.
Like what?
Like setting up that dedicated UAP investigative committee.
Oh, right. Well, speaking of bringing in experts, I'm really curious to hear what Dr. Emily Carter has to say about all this.
Oh, yeah, she's great.
She's an astrophysicist.
I didn't know her.
And a science historian. She's spent years studying UAPs. She's joining us for the final part of this deep dive.
I mean, she brings such a unique perspective to this.
Yeah.
She'll help us put all of this into context.
Right.
And really think about what this phenomenon means for us.
Yeah.
For how we understand the universe.
Exactly. All right, so welcome back, deep divers. We've been talking about some pretty crazy stuff.
We have.
UAPs, the government, maybe even alien technology.
Yeah, a lot to unpack.
And to help us make sense of all of this, we have Dr. Emily Carter with us. She's an astrophysicist and a science historian.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
She's amazing. And she's dedicated her whole career to studying UAPs. So, Dr. Carter, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Okay, so we've kind of walked our listener through everything that's going on with UAPs right now. The witnesses, the evidence, the push for transparency, and maybe even a cover-up.
Right.
So what do you think about all this?
Well, it's clear to me that we're at a turning point.
Okay.
This whole UAP thing, it's going from fringe theories to actual science.
You think so?
I do. And it's about time. We've been ignoring this for way too long.
That's true. So you've spent years studying UAP research.
Right.
What makes this different from the UFO craze back in the 50s and 60s?
Well, back then, it was mostly just stories.
Okay.
Blurry pictures, people saying they saw something. It was easy to dismiss it.
Right.
But now, we've got data from all these high-tech systems.
Yeah.
We've got multiple witnesses, people we trust, pilots, intelligence officers,
Yeah.
and there's more and more scientific research being done on this. People are taking it seriously.
That's a really good point. We're not dealing with just stories. This is real data.
Right. And not just any data.
Right.
We're talking radar, thermal imaging, stuff we can't explain.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is that all this data, it's consistent. It's all pointing to these objects that are doing things we don't understand.
That's right.
Okay, so we've talked about maybe some of these UAPs could be tech from another country. Maybe they're just really good at keeping secrets. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's possible. It wouldn't be the first time technology has been developed in secret. and maybe someone's just way ahead of us.
But wouldn't we have some clue? Some, like, intelligence report or something?
Not necessarily. Science is full of surprises.
Okay.
100 years ago, people thought flying was impossible.
Right.
50 years ago, the internet would have sounded like science fiction.
That's true.
We always underestimate technology.
Okay, so you're saying we can't rule out human technology, but it would have to be really, really advanced.
Exactly. And if it is, that means we're a lot further behind than we thought.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. Okay, let's switch gears for a second. Let's talk about an Immaculate Constellation. If this program is real and they're hiding all this UAP information, what does that say about our government?
It's not good.
Yeah.
It makes you question transparency, accountability. In a democracy, people have a right to know what their government is doing, especially when it comes to national security and science.
And this idea that they're operating outside of Congress, that's really worrying. That undermines democracy.
Right. And what about this claim that people have been hurt, maybe even killed, because of this cover-up?
That's even worse. If that's true, then we need to hold people responsible. We can't let the pursuit of knowledge come at the cost of human life.
Right. That's not right. So what do you hope to see happen at the congressional hearing?
I'm hoping this is a turning point.
Yeah.
I want to see more transparency. I want to see more money for real scientific research on this. And I want to see a real commitment to finding out the truth, whatever that truth is.
Dr. Carter, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for being here.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear that we've only scratched the surface of this whole UAP thing.
Yeah, we've talked about the evidence, the explanations, and what this all means for us and our place in the universe.
We're left with a lot of questions.
Big questions. Are we alone? What are these UAPs? What's going to happen next?
The answers to those questions, I mean, they could change everything.
They could. Keep looking up, deep divers, and stay curious.